I'd really like to thank you again for sticking with me while we go through each and every miniature. Apparently, not really though, just the high points of the next level miniature Dragons Hoard Volume 1 Kickstarter. Now, keep in mind as you're watching this, they did say they did fix the scale issues. So, the second Kickstarter, if you do want to late back and you really like what you're seeing here, say you like this sculpt, right? You really like this sculpt. You think, what if it were bigger? I would really love to have that in my army. Okay. Now, that is a perfectly valid point of view if you really like this art style. Okay. I can't blame you. It's actually pretty cool. Okay. But say you're kind of disappointed in the size. You think size matters, right? Which, it's you have every right to think size matters. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're playing a 25 millimeter ninja, that would be a very scary ogre, right? If you're playing a 28 millimeter bugbear or hobgoblin, sorry, you're probably not super intimidated by him, right? Especially since you got armor and he doesn't, right? You know, you're not like, oh my god, I'm quaking in my boots. You're probably like, that's a big dude. All right. So, moving right along, we've explored the large minis. There are huge minis somewhere in this catastrophe. These require assembly. Looks like lots of assembly. I don't mind that. Like I said, there is a. So we'll explore this real quick. This won't take long at all. Here is a beholder. Now, because there's so many different types of beholders, right? I don't really mind that this thing's on the smallish end because it's got good detail. And actually, it's got really good detail. I like this sculpt. Were it a little bigger, yeah. Here's one. This one's kind of smallish too, but I like it as well because it comes pre-painted. I have larger ones that I can pull out, but I'm not going to because I could sit here and compare all these all day. But here's the pre-painted Xanathar from Metal Figs. This is their beholder. Now, personally, I have no problem with it. I don't subscribe to this idea that there can't be variants in anything from the Farscape. These beings are actually supposed to be chaos incarnate, so a small beholder doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I think I like the concept of a microscopic looking beholder shooting rays of death everywhere. It doesn't bother me conceptually. So, and everybody's complaining about the beholder. I don't mind it. Now, as an aspect of what we were promised, I could see how people could take issue with it. As far as usefulness, this is just as useful to me as this is. And having various sculpts is always a good thing. So, there's that. All right. Now, I've heard complaints about these minis that they don't butt together well, so we're going to find out. That's not terrible. Maybe you need a little putty to fill it in or a little filing. Do a little putty. I think a little putty will do this one just right. So, this is a Cerberus type creature. Three-headed hound something. There's some flashing on that head that looks pretty dorky, but I can deal with that. Guys, all you need is a file and a little love. Some people have a knack for it, some don't, so I can understand why there's frustration about that, because I don't know that they told everyone that they were going to be sending minis in pieces. Now, to be fair, I like the sculpt. I think it's like a chupacabra looking thing, you know? Pretty gruesome. Definitely not menacingly large, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. A three-headed dog that looks like a chupacabra is spooky. And so that's a cool mini. A little on the smaller side. More like a coyote, but I'm exaggerating. It's a little bigger than a coyote. It's definitely not full-on wolf size, though. Which I'm sure is what people would have wanted. All right. Okay, so yeah, that look how big that beholder looks compared to our pygmy priestess here. Yeah, but again, our hobgoblin males, they aren't especially oversized, like blown away by the size of that Xanathar. Okay, bye Xanathar, get out of here. There are still more bags of stuff, but let's get to there's a bunch of bases. I gotta say I like the bases. I don't understand the bases, but I like them. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't understand them. None of these miniatures are big enough for any of these bases. Except maybe that ogre. That ogre could probably go on this 50 millimeter. That's it. There ain't a one of these minis that needs these big old bases. But I like the bases. I can tell they're good bases. Maybe Next Level Miniatures should be making bases. Yeah. These make more sense. These make more sense. Now my question is though, and not to be a dick, did they pull these miniatures out after they made them? Did a test badge, pull them out, put them on the bases, and look at them and say, you know what? Maybe that looks a little freaking dinky on that base. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe the thought occurred to them. I don't know. I don't know if they looked at other products. I don't know if they said, hey, what's a Reaper Hobgoblin look like? I don't know. I can't speak to that. I wasn't part of the process. Okay. I don't know. Am I being a dick? I don't know. Let me know. I gotta say I spent $176 on this. And I'm only liking, there's like 3 of these minis I like. That I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And if I go through, guys, you've seen my reviews. I'm pretty chill. When I go through a box of Reaper Bones and look through it, I'm like, man, that's neat. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's useful. I can use that. Am I doing that right now? Because I could have got a core box of Reaper Bones 4, right? For what were they? 120 bucks plus shipping, right? Well, I don't know. I'm not saying this is a bad deal. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm not wowed. I could be wowed. I like what they're doing with the sculpts. I really do. What are you? You're weird looking. Oh, Minotaur. Let's check out this Minotaur. There were people talking on the Facebook page. See, I'm on the Facebook page here. They were saying how the Minotaur is wonky. Let's test that theory. Yeah. Now, this Minotaur, I can tell you right now, is not large. But that doesn't matter because Crinian Minotaurs aren't large. And you could use this as a PC. And from what I gather, the Crin thing is coming back. Okay, yeah, I see the problem here. So, what you're going to want to do with this Minotaur, guys, right off the bat, take a file to this bit right here, okay? If you do that, you're going to win. You're not going to have a problem. If you don't do that, you're going to have big freaking problems, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and grab a file, do that, and show you what I mean. Actually, it can be done with a knife. So, what you're trying to clean off is this little nub of bullshit here. I don't even know why that flashing's on there. But that is definitely going to give you a bad day if you try to fit that in the hole provided. You're going to have a bad day. Let's really look at the model. Let's really look at what we're getting here. So the detail on this is excellent. for the money you paid. The detail, I gotta say, is really good. The flashing out the top of the freaking head, though, it's suboptimal, but it's doable. I can fix that, no problem. So a couple swings with my knife, like 2 or 3 passes, and I might have this where it'll slot in there. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we're going to have to clean it up a little more, but we're really close. Right. And, if you want to use an X-Acto knife or a razor blade, that would work perfectly. I'm using a pocket knife because it's all I got handy right now. All right, here you go, guys. This is what you're going to have. And you're going to need some putty to fill that gap. Let me see. Actually, I can probably shave that off. Let me check. I'm just seeing what we're working with here, guys. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue it in as is. See what we're really working with, and I'll pull it out and fix it if it needs it. And I can understand why this is frustrating for backers, especially those who never messed with this sort of stuff before. All right, let's slide it in. See what we're actually working with here. So, definitely gonna need putty on the neck, but really sink that in. There we go. Hold it. I'm gonna hold this until it dries. You guys, I'm gonna pause it. All right, cool kids. So I had to shave, and this is what I'll tell you on this on that square. I had to shave about 1 millimeter off across the whole thing. And once I did, might need a little putty here, but nothing. Let's zoom here. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. A little putty there. Nothing you wouldn't expect from one of these models. But the good news is this plastic glue actually seems to be holding it together. It doesn't work on Reaper. I bought a bunch of this stuff thinking I got a deal. It works on Warhammer. It doesn't work on Reaper. It seems to work on this. So, and as you can see, if you shave that millimeter off, it goes in pretty well. Like I said, you might need a little putty. And if you guys want to see me fix this model up with putty and such and show you how to make it look like you'd never even know that happened, like that seam was there, I can show you. Let me know in the comments. But I think, the thing people don't realize is Crinean Minotaurs are coming back. Because Dragonlance is coming back. And even though there are poo-poo naysayers who are calling it whatever, I'm not going to get into that. That's political. They're trying to politicize a fantasy world from, the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and turn it into... Now, what are we doing here? Let's see here. What we got here? What am I looking at? Is there dead space on this thing? Yeah. So I don't know what that is. It's not the end of the world. But it's certainly not. The really good companies will fill that. They'll sculpt the whole thing. But for presentation purposes, which is what these are for, it's fine. That gap will need a little putty, but not much. No worse than... So like I'm saying here, guys. Okay, so when we first got that square, I'm going to draw it out for you. Okay. When we first got that, the key was shaped something like this. There was... Right? And that ain't right, because what you needed was this cut off. So you got to cut this off, cut it flush. Okay, but then what you got to do is this comes out like this. I'm doing this on a, right? It's 3D. Okay, I'm trying to do 3D here. All right. Anyway, you're going to shave off the top of the cube. Right, see, because you've shaved it down here. Step 1, shave it down flush here. Get rid of this. Step 2 is take this and cut 1 millimeter off, flush. Okay? Got it? If you do that, the Minotaur will go in place. And you'll get something like this. And it appears you can use Army Painter's plastic glue, which is good for me because I have a lot of bottles of this stuff that I can't use it because most of my miniatures are Reaper or WizKids. But yeah, that's working nicely. So good deal. So that's one good thing I can say about Next Level Miniatures in the part 3 video here. All right, well, we got that glued together. Now, what I don't know is why they couldn't have done that before they sent it to us. I guess they figured out it was a bit of a bugaboo too. And that's why they left it for you. Only thing I can assume there. Oh, wow. You know, guys, if they're human size, they're worthless. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, I can look at these. Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Okay. Now, this could be a sweet, sweet mini, right? Except it's out of scale. And this is so out of scale. And I'll prove it. The same thing. Remember her? He looks about like a man, a big, burly man in 25 millimeter. You know what he doesn't look like? Right, so here, let's compare him to this ninja. That's a big, burly barbarian in, right, 25 millimeter. Yeah. Oh, no. He's not big or burly. He's like a sawed-off. You know, if you wanted to have this as a Shaolin monk, from China, could work. He's a stocky dude. He's well muscled. He's well proportioned. He's just tiny. He's a little short dude. He's like 5'6". He's a little 5'6" dude. He might be 5'8". And there's nothing wrong with that. Look, at least this measure is not completely worth it. This could be a really stocky dude who's 5'8". But is he the menacing barbarian that you would expect? No. Now, less useful is this. What in the world are we supposed to do with this? Hey, pay attention to me. No. Wow. And you know what's bad? You know what's bad about this? The sculpts are good. But here, we got our elf. Where's our elf? We had a female elf earlier. What did I do with her? Hold that thought. I don't know what I did with my elf. It doesn't matter. Here we go. Here's their elf. Here is a human male. This one's not so bad. But I'm going to tell you right here. Look at this. She towers over so even in the own scale, this one's not bad. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. The elven archer, who's almost as tall as the barbarian here, probably, is fine. She is about 5'7". And she's fine. This miniature, the first humanoid I've seen that's fine. It's fine. This is perfectly usable. Can't complain about it. But back to our barbarian. I have another barbarian. Huh? Now, you can tell he fits in right here just fine. Yeah? Maybe this is his little cousin, Dopey. Hi, cousin. Hey, Dopey. All right. I've gone over 20 minutes. Thanks for watching. Find all the collectibles of your dreams while you're awake. I think the elf is fine. The elf is fine. Hallelujah. The elf is fine. Elf. I mean, it's not, anything to write home about, but it works. It works. An elf, female, tiny, good.